Welcome to TWitWoW, the best wrestling podcast made for wrestling fans, by wrestling fans, on the web today. I'm John. That's my cohort and commentary Ashton. And this is our NXT review. Holy fucking shit. What an episode of NXT this was, on the road to NXT TakeOver New York. Obviously informed by some sadness. Tommaso Ciampa had to vacate the NXT Championship. He is going to be out for probably a year. We probably won't see him again until 2020. And it hurts me deeply, sincerely, completely, out of all that bullshit that I do on here, to say that, because I really do believe he was the best heel that we had going in some time. But with sadness comes action, and with action comes amazingness, because Triple H took this matter into his hands and he said, hey, we're going to get a new NXT champion at TakeOver New York. In one corner, it's going to be Johnny Gargano, Tommaso Ciampa's longtime nemesis. But in the other corner, that's yet to be revealed, because we're going to settle it tonight in a fatal 5-way match. Black, Ricochet, Adam Cole, Velveteen Dream, and Matt fucking Riddle, the winner of which will go to TakeOver New York to vie for the ultimate prize, the NXT Championship against Johnny Gargano. But not just in any match. Oh, no. With the void that Tommaso Ciampa has left us, we need to ensure that it is filled, and filled perfectly so. To make sure that the best possible champion is determined, it will be 2 out of 3 falls. They took a tragedy, and not only Ciampa going down, but this big, long, in-depth build with him and Gargano extending, years at this point. It's been a long-form storyline. And they've said, hey, I know we can't conclude this, but we're going to give you this. And boy, did they give us an episode of NXT to remember. I know it's been a lengthier intro for me because so much has happened, but I'm going to hand it over to my co-host and commentary, Ashton. What did you think about all this, man? Because they hit us with a lot tonight.
Well, the very fact that as much happened as did is exactly why you and I felt the need to come on here and actually review this show, because live reactions are really fun and really good for shows that are just matches and no major storyline development or anything like that. But when you get something as big as this, we definitely need to get on here and really let our thoughts and feelings out, really have a discussion, get in depth, speculate, whatever it takes to get into this. And this episode of NXT was really amazing, and I even said while we were live reacting, like, there's only one match on this entire show, and it features Adam Cole, best NXT ever. But truthfully, I wasn't even expecting him to win the thing. I mean, I was rooting for him, and I thought there might be a chance because he was the only heel in the match, but I was not fully like, oh my God, Adam Cole's winning this match by any means. But it makes it even better that he did, because to me, you're right, he was the best option to win the match. But before we get to that, there was a lot of stuff that happened before that, because we've got to remember the match itself didn't start until after 8:30, and even the entrances for the match didn't start until 8:25. So we have the entire first 25 minutes of this show to talk about, and most of that was build towards TakeOver New York. So I'm very excited to talk about this stuff, and I'm ready to get into our first segment.
Yeah, I mean, first segment, heat of the night. I almost want to treat this like we used to with Lucha Underground episodes and just say this segment is pointless. Like, this episode of NXT was fucking phenomenal.
I have a pretty fucking raging heat of the night. Kona Reeves' existence.
Oh, that, yeah, you know what? The Fatal 5-Way was so fucking good, I was able to black that out, but thanks for unearthing that. It's always good to have the trauma nice and fresh. I don't know why he's still employed, but he just said, like, 2 lines. I can let it go. He's hideous. He knows it. If he was hit by a truck, it would probably be an improvement. Other than that, though, episode was fucking great. So, yeah, good shit.
Yeah, I mean, it would be an improvement for existence because he wouldn't be in it anymore.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Jesus.
Thumbnail-looking son of a bitch.
Yeah, I'll fucking say.
All right, well, I mean, if that's all we've got for Heat of the Night, we can move on to our main segment.
Yes. Our NXT review, and we open up with Triple H, NXT Championship in his arm, and the crowd immediately raining down upon him NXT chants. He says just the idea like of that chant, I don't have to tell you guys how special this place is.
Yep.
Talks about how, people come here because this is where dreams become a possibility, the chance to become reality. But for some, those dreams could take years. And he talks about Tommaso Ciampa and how Ciampa has gone down, how the original big plan for TakeOver New York was going to beat Johnny Gargano versus Tommaso Ciampa, who Triple H unfortunately mispronounced Ciampa's name. That one actually hurt, given how closely Triple H works with all the talent. I thought you'd care more to know better, but I guess not. But he says that because Ciampa's gone down and he had neck surgery this morning, which, not to jump the gun, but we did get a video package of that surgery. I had to legitimately fight back tears because I didn't know that Ciampa had a family. I genuinely did not know that. And seeing him with them in a hospital bed really hit me fucking hard. But Triple H hit harder with the news of what he's going to do. And as I said in the intro, Johnny Gargano's already in the match. Got to determine the other half, though. Fatal 5-way tonight. Adam Cole, Velveteen Dream, Aleister Black, Ricochet, Matt Riddle, and I think that's it. I think I got everybody. So yeah, fatal 5-way, one fall to the finish. Winner goes to TakeOver New York to face Johnny Gargano. 2 out of 3 falls. Not really much to say about Triple H's promo, man. He was dealing with serious business. It's not like he was being a character or anything. He was being the guy that, NXT is his fucking baby. I thought it was a good promo. I thought it got straight to the point of what we can expect tonight. So yeah, good stuff. What about you?
Yeah, Triple H coming out making this big announcement, talking about Ciampa already got the neck surgery, so it's not like something that we're going to be able to like put off and wait till or anything like that. And that we're going to be having a fatal 5-way tonight where the winner faces Gargano at TakeOver in a 2 out of 3 falls match. That was all great. The 5 participants were good. I did mention in our live reactions, like, I get why Ricochet and Black are in there because they provide that level of like credibility. Like anyone that like beats one of them, it's like a bigger deal because they're both former champions. Black specifically being a former NXT champion, Ricochet former North American champion. But I wish we would have just had 5 guys in this, and I would have specifically, and I mentioned this too, replaced Ricochet and Aleister Black with Keith Lee and Dominik Dijakovic. But I think it would have been great if there would have been 5 guys in this who've never held the NXT title before, because then we would have a guaranteed brand new NXT champion at TakeOver New York, because Gargano's never held it either. But even if they really would have just wanted to like, if they could have just guaranteed that by not having Black in it. I love Aleister Black, but he has no real business trying to get back to the NXT championship when he and Ricochet are on the main roster and they're going after the Dusty Classic, et cetera, et cetera. So even if they just wanted to replace him with Keith Lee, just like the single replacement would have been good enough for me. But, the match itself was incredible, obviously. And I'm sure we'll get more classics similar or akin to this involving guys like Keith Lee and Dijakovic down the line. I am just impatient, and I feel like those guys should be getting treated more like main eventers, whereas NXT kind of seems perfectly content billing them as mid-carders for now until they need them as main eventers, which might be sooner than later at this rate. We'll see.
Yeah, I have quite a bit to say. Since you wanted to do like this NXT review, I thought this would be a great opportunity to kind of express some of my sentiments when we get to the match itself about how I'm viewing the NXT landscape in Ciampa's absence and how a new NXT champion could really enliven that same landscape. But I'm going to hold off until we really break down the Fatal 5-way, and that seems to be a more appropriate venue. So in the meantime, what came after this?
After Triple H's big intro, we went backstage and we saw Kathy Kelly looking at the men's locker room, waiting for someone to come out of it. And then who's the first one to come out of it, John?
Kona Reeves. And Kathy's just like, oh, Kona, how do you feel about the main event tonight? Kona's like, oh, it's all right, but it's not going to be the finest. And he walks off. To which I say, this is why you'll never be a main eventer. This is why you'll never even smell the main event picture, because of your stupid ass gimmick. Please, please realize that your ambitions far outpace your talents and give up. It would save a lot of us a lot of fucking time. Hate him so much. So he might be. I think he is the male Natalia. Just my hate is just so. Oh my god. Okay. So after he is done existing and breathing in the same space as me, which I should say I find incredibly offensive. The Forgotten Sons come out, a team that you know I'm a huge fan of. And I actually really like their logic here. They said, they're not concerned about the main event. Their only concern is the main event that's happening next week. The Dusty Rhodes Tag Team Classic final between them, represented by Jay Cutler and Wesley Blake, versus Aleister Black and Ricochet. And they said they hope either Aleister Black or Ricochet wins the match tonight, because they know then come next week, their minds are going to be elsewhere. Their minds are going to be on the NXT Championship. And with them divided, the natural outcome being Forgotten Sons win. And so, yeah, they walk off on that. And then Jackson Riker says, and we will never be forgotten. And it's just, yes, freaking love these guys. I love the gimmick. I've been pushing for these guys hard on the podcast, as you all know. So to know that they made it to the finals just feels very vindicating. And I hope they take it all the way next week, but we'll wait and see.
Yeah, definitely. Okay, so up next, we got 3 video packages for 3 of the 5 men that were going to be in the Fatal 5-Way. The first one was kind of a combination of Ricochet and Aleister Black, since they're kind of a team now. Ricochet basically just talking about how we bring out the best in each other, and I expect the best competition, blah, blah, blah. Aleister Black talking about everyone. And I love what he did here, too, because when he said everyone, he immediately looked at Ricochet as if to say, like, you too, bud, fades to black. I loved that. And then we got Velveteen Dream, and of course, he kind of did his thing, and he said, in this match, it'll be Dream over.
Yeah. Yeah. Nothing. I really don't say much often when we're reviewing episodes with like a lot of video packages. These were great. I loved how Aleister Black, like you said, conducted himself. I thought that was perfect. Velveteen Dream, man, I keep saying it. I think he's the answer to the Cena Miz type worker, the type that, is relatively straightforward in the ring, not too flashy, but has charisma for fucking days. And that is going to more than compensate for the rest of their career. And combine that with the fact that he is obscenely young. Like, oh my God, it's amazing. Gives me goosebumps every time I think about it. So great stuff from Dream. Nothing more to say than that. We can move on.
Well, tell you what, we're going to go a little tiny bit out of order here. We'll just talk about the other 2 video packages from the 5-Way. Matt Riddle talks about he's going to become NXT champion, bro. And then Adam Cole cuts an amazing promo talking about how he actually debuted at the Barclays Center 2 years ago and attacked Drew McIntyre, beat him down, and held the NXT title up above his head. And he's going to win that same title this year in the same venue. I loved Adam Cole's promo here. I
love the fucking callback because I actually forgot that fact.
And I hope he's right. I'm rooting for Cole, man. I love Gargano, but I can't not root for Cole.
Here's the thing. I mean, since you've already kind of introduced that aspect of the discussion, Gargano is just so fucking good as an underdog. Like, yeah. I'm sorry, if he was to win the NXT Championship, he'd be a transitional champion. That's the only way I could buy him as like a mainstay heavyweight champion. Yep. He's so good as an underdog. This guy, here's the thing. I'm not saying he should never win, because that's the beauty of a babyface, is eventually they do achieve that catharsis, but he should probably lose 90% of his career. Because, like, that's just where his money is, in being so sympathetic and people wanting him to be a winner. Whereas Adam Cole, I'm sorry, you cannot have a guy that, and I know I joked about it a lot on live reactions, but legitimately has a great fucking look, the confidence to pull it off, and really just the charisma to be able to laugh at himself, like not doing like any like ridiculous hokey shit, but like, the things like, oh, everybody has time for me and stuff like that, like showing that insecurity in a playful way. The dude's a great heel in this age. And like, yeah, I want him to be NXT champion too. I know we're nowhere near close to TakeOver New York preview predictions, but this isn't a prediction. This is a desire. We both desire Adam Cole to be NXT champion because, I'm sorry, he's the better choice. He's the better choice. Like, that's just all there is to it. I love the promo too, and just the intensity in his eyes. Like, I even joked, like, wow, he looked directly into my soul, and I don't think he lied to me. So I felt good about it. I felt really good about it. But that's all I got to say. So what came after this? I know we're going out of order.
Yeah. So this is where I wanted to go out of order, because there was something that happened in between the first 3 video packages and then these last 2. And that was the Tommaso Ciampa behind the scenes video with him surgery and the doctors describing what ails him and seeing him with his, I guess, wife and kid. Yeah, so it's tragic, but I will just say the reason that I bring this up, because I know you talked about it earlier, but the reason I'm bringing it up is because I think it's really interesting that NXT is kind of giving him the Triple H treatment, because this is what they did with Triple H back in the early 2000s when he had his torn quad and he had to do all the rehab and shit.
Yeah, dude, I just want to point something out since, again, like you've kind of set the table for discussion here by broaching this subject. The doctor even said that because it was compressing like against his spine, like Tommaso was one bad blow away from paralysis. That is fucking horrifying in this industry that I don't think we talk about enough until it happens. That like you're that close to just having your entire livelihood turned inside out. I was not kidding when I said that this thing almost broke me. I mean, obviously I wanted to keep it together because it was recording, but I'm watching him, man, hold his baby girl in his arms. And again, the doctor saying you were one blow away from paralysis. And like, obviously it hurts for everybody because we're all human beings and we all have value and you know, all that jazz. But like, he's so fucking good at what he does on top of that. So you have the emotional investment of, I want you to keep doing this because I'm selfish and I love what you do. But at the same time, I see that and it's such a fucking juxtaposition. But you're right. It is very interesting that they position Ciampa this way. And I already said it on live reactions. And because it's not a concern until 2020, I don't really have a qualm saying it here. I would love for Tommaso Ciampa to make his return at the 2020 Royal Rumble and fucking win the damn thing. Like, if you're ever going to have a former NXT guy vault over permanently to the main roster and make an impact, have fucking Ciampa win the Rumble. I don't care if he goes for the WWE title or Universal title. He is such a great character. He would make either one work. Even if he would turn heel after winning it or even on the road to competing for it. He's an amazing fucking character, and he needs this momentum maintained because he is going to be gone for a year. He needs to come back in a major way to reclaim his spot in no time at all and to reestablish himself. I do not want this guy, because of a freak injury that happened when he was really putting together a fantastic body of work, to have that all go to the wayside because, I don't know, injury prone or whatever bullshit's going on. This dude is an impact player. And like, I don't think that value's diminished because of one injury. That's just me. I would have him fucking take everything. And I hope that they have him take his time in recovery because we want him back at his best. But yeah, this video package, it's not usually hard for me to watch stuff like this. This is a bit difficult for me to watch, just given everything. But
and dude, here's the thing too. Exactly 10 minutes ago at 9:08 p.m., Ciampa tweeted, "A small piece of me died tonight. The greatest 237 days of my life." And then he posted a black heart, a yellow heart, and a broken heart.
Damn.
Oh, Ciampa.
Dude, yeah.
His return next year. That's the thing, though. Whether he returns at the Royal Rumble or if his return is the post-WrestleMania Raw or SmackDown, either way, his return's going to be amazing. So, you know, there's no real positive to come out of him having this neck surgery and most likely having a shortened career because of it. But if we want to look on the bright side, it's that his return is going to be amazing. That's the only real silver lining to this incredibly dark cloud.
Yeah, his return's going to be amazing. And the other silver lining, because again, just doctor's words, not mine, we avoided fucking paralysis. Thank God. Like, you know, because again, just crazy how that works out. And again, you know, you pointed out something that because of the nature of the neck injury, and we've seen Edge and Stone Cold, they've had condensed careers after injuries like that. That's why I'm saying you got to maximize your fucking time. All the more reason to really put a rocket to him when he comes back next year. 2020 should be the year of Ciampa. I'm hoping it is. I'm going to miss him every day for the rest of this year. I can't wait for him to come back, and I can only hope NXT can do right by the legitimacy he brought to the NXT championship with whoever the next champion's going to be. So that's all I got to say about that. We can move on.
All right, man. Well, moving on, we had Kathy Kelly backstage yet again. This time, though, with the Sky Pirates.
NXT was looking out for me because in the same segment where I almost cried with Ciampa, we transitioned to something that always makes me happy with Kyrie.
There you go.
Yeah, they were talking about the NXT Women's Championship match at TakeOver New York. We know it's going to be a fatal four-way. And they both said, and this was so comforting because I've had people tweet at me lately when I've been tweeting like EO and Kyrie content, Sky Pirates content, oh, it's going to be really sad when Io turns on Kairi. You heard it from their own mouths. Their friendship isn't going to complicate things. They can parcel the two things out. They both want to be women's champion, and they understand that, and they'll still love each other when the dust settles. So in your face.
Kyrie even said that the takeover match won't come between their friendship, but they both want the title, so they're willing to fight each other for it. That's perfectly fine. That's a healthy friendship right there.
Absolutely. Abso-freaking-lutely.
What's not healthy, though, is delusional thoughts when you've lost and you continue to act like you're undefeated, which is what Bianca Belair is kind of doing when she shows up and basically says that neither Kairi nor Io deserves to be in the championship match, since, according to Bianca, she had Io beat last week before Shayna showed up and attacked, and that her mindset now is undefeated. And then she walks away, and Kairi kind of wants to go after her and have some words, but Io holds her back.
Which, that just, a lot of feelings here, okay? I know tensions are high, but we should all just take a deep breath and just collectively hug it out. That's my advice in the situation. But to stand up for Bianca a little bit, as she said, it is a mindset. She said after she lost to Shayna, like, I know I'm no longer undefeated, but I'm keeping my mindset undefeated. And, she was screwed in that championship match. Jasmine and Marina ran in.
Well, yeah, but so was Kairi in her last championship match.
And I do think Kairi deserves to be here, contrary to what Bianca says, because, yeah, she was screwed. I feel like she did get her shoulder up in that 2 out of 3 falls matchup. And Io earned her way here by pinning Shayna. So I think everybody's claim is legitimate. No one person's is more legitimate than another person's. We can all get along here. We can all focus on the fact that Shayna's the target. But I do think the Fatal 4-Way is going to be a lot of fun. I think NXT Women's Fatal 4-Ways, I'll be truthful, they're hit or miss depending on the people, but this might be the best overall gathering of talent for an NXT Women's Fatal 4-Way, because I think Shayna's legit as hell. I still don't think she gets enough credit from certain segments of the wrestling fan population, but that's just me. Io's one of the best wrestlers in the world. Kairi, I think, will go down as one of the best WWE women's wrestlers in the world when her career is done. And Bianca, I've been saying since day one, is just a freaking prospect. Has a lot of upside. I'm excited for this Fatal 4-Way. TakeOver New York is looking freaking legit. And yeah, it was a fun segment to, again, continue building tension among the 3 women, because we already know enough tension exists for Baszler and her camp. So good stuff all around.
Yeah, absolutely. All right. Well, end of the day, no, we've got 3 very deserving women taking on Shayna Baszler. Shayna, again, kind of pulling the old foolish villain trope of, if I attack them and get double disqualification, nobody wins and no one can challenge me.
I love that you did the voice, because first of all, that's what they deserve for being so stupid. But then I also wonder, like, I'm just in the locker room formulating the plan, especially too, and I hate to call her out like this, because I would never do it to her face, because I'm a coward. But like, Shayna claims to be such a super fan of the product. You're telling me in all your years of watching, you thought this plan was so fucking novel. You've never seen it hatched before, ever, and you've never seen how it's worked out before, ever. I call bullshit. Like, what the fuck, Shayna? But regardless, she got us a great match out of the deal, so I guess I should be thanking her at the end of the day. But what came after this, amigo?
Up next, we had a big announcement that next week would be, and it's not really an announcement because we kind of found out earlier in the show, but they're just making it clear that next week will be the Dusty Classic Finals, Black and Ricochet versus Forgotten Sons. And earlier on in the night when the Forgotten Sons mentioned it, they actually said that it would be the main event next week. So I guess we know what our main event is going to be next week. But then we get to our main event this week, which was our fatal 5-way match to determine Johnny Gargano's opponent at TakeOver.
All right, brother. Now, I know you and I both have a lot to say about this, but because you're the more coherent between the two of us, given all of your note-taking and studiousness, I want you to go first and just run down all the notes you took for this match.
See, that's where you're mistaken, because I got so sucked into this match so quickly, I have literally 0 notes on it.
Oh, well, then I still want you to go first, though, because I feel like I've done a good bit of talking for most of the segments tonight, but this is what you and I showed up to talk about anyway, let's be honest. So I want you to have the floor first.
Yeah, I loved this match. I even said in my closing statements for our live reaction, I think this is a legitimate match of the year candidate. And I'm going to put together a little bit of a short list that I'm going to go back and rewatch every match from at the very end of the year to really determine what my match of the year is. And this is going on that short list because this was just one of those matches that it was just exciting from the beginning. Like immediately the guys start going at it. We don't have any lockups. It's just straight up physicality from the get-go. And I love that anytime it seemed like somebody was about to win, it got broken up. And then it took basically Ricochet taking everyone out and then doing a big move and then getting caught from behind by Adam Cole for an actual finisher to be crowned here, for an actual winner to be crowned here, I should say. I really enjoy the style of match that this was. I love how there were never really any lulls. And even though there were moments where it felt like there were guys just kind of chilling on the outside, it was almost never so long that it was like one of those like Roman Reigns in the Royal Rumble kind of things where it's like, where the hell's that guy been? He's just sitting on the outside this whole time and now he's going to end up winning the match for no reason. It really did, like everything felt earned, you know?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Can I talk about this a little bit, or is there any other points you want to make?
Go ahead. I really like, that's my thing is I absolutely loved this match, but with matches, I always feel like it's better to just listen to our live reactions.
Absolutely. Dude, I think everybody, specifically Cole and Riddle, were booked perfectly in this match because with Cole,
Riddle especially,
but here's why I mentioned Cole thinking back on it, which I didn't say in live reactions. He was the perfect fucking heel in this thing because he was either going outside to recuperate after eating offense or he was incredibly opportunistic like he was in the finish, hitting Ricochet from behind. Like, the way he conducted himself in the Fatal 5-Way is why I wanted him to win the Fatal 5-Way to begin with. Like, he is such a quintessential heel doing all of the cheap tricks. He's kind of like Johnny Mundo in that way. He does all of the cheap tricks, but he does them with such personality. Yeah. And he executes them so well that he makes them feel new again. And that's why I loved when Johnny Mundo was Lucha Underground champion, because he didn't do anything overly spectacular. He did your same basic, eye pokes and low blows and this and that. But the way he carried himself when he did it, the same way Adam Cole carries himself in such a way, it's like, damn, this guy, he really, like, he shares to me that affinity with, like, the Ric Flairs and those types of heels, which is what makes a world championship reign from him. The prospect of that seems so exciting. Riddle, to circle back around to you mentioning, like, Riddle especially, he fucking showed out for this. And, dude, I said repeatedly on live reactions, and I will say one more time here, because I never know if people just show up for our reviews and just forego our live reactions. He needed this platform the most because all of these other guys to me were well established and everybody knew who they were. Tonight, Matt Riddle let the fucking world know who he is. He killed it. His strike exchanges with Aleister Black, his urgency in getting the bro mission, which I mentioned on live reactions, I loved. I love that, like, the way he conducted himself in this match, he treated it like he was in the octagon and it was like an official MMA bout. Like, if I can end this, I'm going to end it. His Fisherman Buster like maneuver.
Dude, I love too, like, not only Fisherman Buster, but deadlift Fisherman.
Yes.
What? Dude. And the thing is, didn't he do that to Aleister Black too? Like, wasn't that who he did it to?
I believe it was. Because I think Velveteen was the one to break it up, but he either did it to Aleister or I thought he might have done it to Ricochet. Adam Cole, yeah. Dude, Matt Riddle was fucking awesome here.
I want to say it was to Aleister, though, because I just remember thinking, like, wow, that was really impressive.
And, like, you could make the argument, because I know you mentioned, like, Aleister Black might have had the match won at one point because he hit a black mass, but Matt Riddle, like, explicitly, NXT booked it in a way that he explicitly had the match won if it wasn't for Adam Cole, because he had Velveteen Dream tapping out in the bro mission, but Adam Cole pulled the referee out. I love.
And you know what, too, dude? I wonder if that's going to lead to something, because, like, I think it's probably safe to say that Riddle, since Adam Cole was the only other person even in the conversation with Dream, I'm pretty confident we can say Riddle is going to end up challenging Dream for the North American title at TakeOver. But I think he's probably going to lose. And then, like, if Adam Cole does win the world title, which I hope he does, that could be the next TakeOver match, is Riddle versus Adam Cole, because Riddle could say, like, Adam Cole took the spot that I earned when I made Velveteen Dream tap out in that 5-way match that he screwed me out of. So he took that match and then he went on to win the title. I should have been in that match. The title should be mine. I should be the champion, and he could challenge Cole that way.
I mean, dude, I was saying this even before he put ink to any paper. I would say to you over games of Rocket League, private conversations, I would say, hey, Ashton, whatever company Riddle signs with, he is going to have an insane rookie year there. And to know that he's already like, I don't even feel like he's been in the company that long. What's it been like 4 months at least, maybe less, maybe a little bit more.
Do you remember what the show was that he debuted on? I want to say it was Brooklyn 4, right?
I want to agree with you that it was Brooklyn 4.
It was. So that would be. It's been 7 months.
Wow. Okay. Wow, those 7 months have zipped by then. I can't believe it's already been that long. But, to be that deep, not even a full year, and to already be like just a hiccup away, decision away, to be in the main event of a takeover for the championship and to have it won until Adam Cole again did. And
you know what, dude? I don't know what city they're going to be in June. Which I guess now it's not going to be happening on Money in the Bank weekend anymore because Money in the Bank got moved to May, but I'm still expecting them to have a takeover in June since that splits the difference between Mania and SummerSlam. Whatever city they do that in, though, that I think is going to end up being Riddle versus Cole, or it might be Brooklyn 5. I think one of those two shows, it might be, dude, Brooklyn 5 would be nuts because that'd be the 1 year anniversary of Riddle's debut.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think he can do it, man. Because what was my prediction? That he'd be NXT champion by the end of his rookie year? I mean,
I think you just said a champion. I don't think you specified which one.
Yeah, I don't think I put all my chips and specified the title, but I did say he'd have gold like during his rookie year or at the end of it. And yeah, he definitely seems to be on that trajectory. I'm standing by it, especially after a performance like tonight. I have not lost confidence in that bet at all. This dude is a freak. And I think him and Cole feuding for the NXT championship, fuck yes. Like, I love the very thought of that. I love that Ricochet ate the pin because him and Aleister Black have already got the Dusty Rhodes Tag Team Classic main event next week. So it was smart for him to take the pin here. I would have been cool with him, Black, or Dream eating the pin because Dream already has a championship. But, I'm totally cool again with it being Ricochet. Adam Cole wins. I mean, this match was insane. I feel like everybody showed out in their own way. But Adam Cole, again, the opportunist. And I think him and Gargano, it's such a perfect contrast given their stories. And here's the thing, too, and I wanted to say this. Adam Cole, I don't think anybody's really going to dispute me in this space, but Adam Cole has legitimately earned this because he's never been like an OP heel in his NXT career. I mean, you're talking like Undisputed Era have had their moments of dominance, but you figure, right, like they won the first War Games Steel Cage match, right? Next year, they lose it. Who ate the pin in that match? Adam Cole.
Yep.
EC3, when he was NXT, can say he's gotten wins over Adam Cole. Ricochet, who did he beat for the North American Championship? Adam Cole. Adam Cole has put so many guys over. And this is why when you were talking about like wanting Adam Cole to be NXT champion, I said like I had comments about the NXT landscape. This was the segment that I wanted to make them in. Adam Cole is the perfect NXT champion because he's been so selfless and like giving other people wins, and he hasn't been like that, oh my God, who's going to stop this heel? Like I feel like Ciampa was, because Ciampa was racking up wins left and right, and he really did seem untouchable. Adam Cole is antithetical to Ciampa in that regard, but that's not a bad thing.
No, Adam Cole would be NXT's answer to the new Daniel Bryan.
I was just getting ready to took the words literally right out of my mouth, brother, because I was just getting ready to say that. Yeah. And I think that is what this NXT needs, because here's the thing. Ciampa was such a presence. I don't think any one guy, even Adam Cole, for as delicious as he is, can really fill that void. But if you have a guy that has all of these contenders naturally gravitate because of how beatable you are, that's fucking exciting TV to me, because I'll go on record and say this, and I'm glad you mentioned Bryan, because again, I was going to. I feel like Bryan's reign has been infinitely more entertaining than AJ Styles' over a year-long run with the title, because AJ felt unbeatable, and as a face, I hate unbeatable faces. To me, it's a formula that never works. Ciampa was okay because he had the charisma to back it up, and he was a heel. But Bryan being a beatable champion, but winning where it counts, that's fucking delicious too. Because it really is. Like I mentioned Ric Flair earlier, as far as charisma, that's how Ric Flair was booked in the ring. Like he'd lose every other show except the big shows when the title was on the line, until he did, and until the crowd went nuts. Cole could have that type of reign. You mentioned Brooklyn 5. Imagine everybody gunning for Adam Cole, and he somehow manages to survive. Then Riddle steps up, and he's the one that does what nobody else can. at Brooklyn 5 how fucking legit that makes Riddle for his run. Like, Adam Cole needs to win here. If you want the NXT field in the main event to be as compelling as possible, imagine Adam Cole surviving the likes of a Keith Lee. I don't know if Dijakovic would be a face, but maybe he'd have a turn somewhere. Maybe Dijakovic would step up. Velveteen, I don't think is going anywhere anytime soon. He'd step up to Cole. And then fucking Riddle gets his shot. You could really have so much fun with this reign here, especially with Undisputed Era backing him up.
Yes.
Yeah, like, I don't know, man. I want you to have the floor a little bit. Like, what possibility do you see with that Adam Cole NXT Championship reign? Because I see so much here.
Yeah, that's the thing. That's why I even, like, kind of, like you said, I kind of took the words out of your mouth. He really could be like a new Daniel Bryan type heel champion, where it's like the reign itself is really good, but what makes what makes it special is the who he loses it to part. You know?
Yes. Yes.
Kind of where I'm coming from. Yeah. So that's exciting as hell to me.
Dude, NXT TakeOver New York on paper, fucking stacked as hell. Because we got Walter Dunn confirmed today, and now we know that we're gonna get Gargano Cole 2 out of 3 falls.
And that's like 2 out of 3 falls in and of itself is like, holy shit. Yeah.
Exactly.
I'm so here for that. Yeah.
Oh, dude, fuck yeah. NXT Women's Fatal 4-Way. We can presume that we're gonna get Riddle Dream on the card.
I think we're gonna get that too. And then the winner of the Dusty Classic versus War Raiders, and then the 4-Way. That's like the 5-match card right there.
And I'll be honest, whoever wins the Dusty Tag Team Classic, like, I think either match could be a lot of fun, because Forgotten Sons, I mean, obviously I'm biased, you know, I'm a big fan of the team, but I love their story, and they definitely have an air about them. Like, we would do whatever we would have to do to the War Raiders to win, which could be a really interesting story to tell at a TakeOver. Or you could go with Black Ricochet if you really wanted to maximize the output of epicness and just be like, okay, you 4 guys kill each other for like 15 minutes. And, you know, I don't think it could go wrong either way, honestly. So this TakeOver New York, I am hyped as hell. I know I usually save like the hype meter for when we get to preview predictions and have a finalized card, but just projecting what I think is going to fill in the gaps, my hype for this is a 10 out of 10. I can't fucking wait for this whole goddamn show.
Yeah, I usually am like, 9.5, but I think I'm going to go all in with you and say 10 as well. And it's almost kind of becoming a tradition that like WrestleMania weekend takeovers are the best ones. Like, I would say this is like the 3rd or 4th year in a row that the WrestleMania weekend takeover has been the most anticipated one of the year for me.
Yeah, man. And when you see cards like this, it's totally understandable why that is. I mean, this takeover is gonna fucking blow the roof off the place. I can't fucking wait. I think all the talent are gonna kill it. I think stars are gonna be fucking made. And I really do believe that if we get Adam Cole as NXT champion, which who knows, when we get to preview predictions, I might say, oh, Ashton, you know, sorry, I'm thinking Gargano's going to win, which I really hope you would talk me out of that, but we'll see. But I really do feel like if you put the championship on Adam Cole, it would be an amazing fucking era, an undisputed era in NXT. It's just amazing. All right. I got nothing else to say, man.
Yeah, well, I'm just thinking about like previous takeover, you know, WrestleMania weekend takeovers. And in 2016, we had TakeOver Dallas, which, you know, I mean, it wasn't an amazing show top to bottom, but we did get Alpha versus Revival, which was amazing. And we did get Nakamura's in-ring debut against Sami Zayn, which was also amazing.
Yes.
And then 2 years ago at TakeOver Orlando, we had Black versus Almas. We had Asuka Ember 2. And then, you know, we also had the triple threat, Authors of Pain, DIY, Revival, the one where DIY and Revival teamed up on the Authors of Pain and did each other's tag team finishers together.
Right.
That was a great show. And like last year, I still, at this point, I'm pretty well sold on TakeOver New Orleans being the best takeover of all time, at least so far. And I think that that's like a big deal because that means that I'm putting it above TakeOver Our Evolution, which prior to this would have been my number one. But like last year's WrestleMania weekend takeover New Orleans was just incredible. I mean, it was the first match that we got after Ciampa's return between him and Gargano, which was amazing. And it was the unsanctioned match.
Right.
And it was for Gargano's NXT career, because if Gargano would have lost, then he would have been quote unquote, fired from NXT, which he already was, but then it would have been like a permanent thing, I guess. And we got the inaugural NXT North American title ladder match, which was Cole and EC3 and Dane and Lars and Ricochet and Dream. We got Shayna Ember 2. We got Undisputed Era versus Authors of Pain versus Dunn and Strong, where Roderick Strong turned and joined Undisputed Era. It's crazy to think that Strong has only been with the Undisputed Era for a year at this point. It feels like he has been with them since the beginning, but he just joined them last April.
Yeah, I'm so glad he's with them too. I really do enjoy every member in that faction, even Robert Pisces in tag team form. Like they all just gel so well together. It's amazing.
And then the only other match on the card was Black Almas, which like if that's the last match I'm mentioning, like holy shit,
Exactly.
And now this year, like we just went over the card and it looks incredible. And granted, TakeOver as a general show has just been on fire over the last year or two. But really, like those shows specifically really stand out to me as spectacular,
Abso-freaking-lutely, man. TakeOver New York. I can't wait for it. I don't even know how WrestleMania like 35 itself is going to be. Again, we'll probably go a lot more in depth on that during our preview, but I feel like NXT TakeOver New York, it's got it locked down. It's like, hey guys, if nothing else, we got this, and I believe them whole fucking heartedly with that card. So with that said, before we get into our next segment, because I know it's been a minute since I've done intros and we've really done a formal NXT TwitWoW, I just want to get plugs out of the way very quickly. Guys, first and foremost, please follow Ashton and myself on Twitter. Ashton's pinned tweet is the recording schedule for the month of March. We've only got a little bit of March left, but still it's important to know what's coming, given that we actually still have some recordings this week. We got one coming up on Friday that was a Patreon request. So if you ever want to know what's happening, any recordings that are getting moved around, redacted, added, whatever the case may be, check out Ashton's pinned tweet. He will have all the answers for you there. My pinned tweet, on the other hand, is to collect Q&A questions. Q&A will be Thursday the 28th. So that is next week. You've got 8 days left to get your Q&A questions in. The mediums with which to submit them: YouTube, Twitter, Facebook, Discord. As I said, my pinned tweet will collect your Q&A questions. If you're a Patreon donor, you get up to 5 Q&A questions. If you're a non-Patreon donor, you only get 3 Q&A questions. You can ask Ashton and I anything you want, more or less, and you can divide your questions up however you want. You could have all 3 questions for Ashton and say, hey, John, go fuck yourself. Or you can ask all 3 of your questions to both of us. You get 2 perspectives for the price of 1 question. I think it's great. Again, you got 8 days left. Get your questions in if you haven't. Check out our Teespring store. We have a litany of offerings from a Braun Strowman. I'm not finished with you. I miss that Strowman very much, for the record. Kevin Owens, because he's a father, damn it. And he is. And he's a magnificent fucking father. And I'm so happy he's on the product again. I missed him so much. We also have TwitWoW specific merch if you want to rep the podcast. I'm a TwitWoW guy. I'm a TwitWoW girl. We also have shirts with the beginning intro with my delicious voice. So, if you want to rep the podcast, those shirts are available as well. We got, again, a lot of offerings. Check out the Teespring store, see what you like. Finally, the Patreon. Guys, the way the Patreon works, if you support what Team TwitWoW does and us kind of venturing out and doing content, from all sorts of eras and doing live reactions like NXT live reactions for the month, thanks to Super Blue's generous donation. The best way to keep that going is donating to the TwitWoW Patreon. The minimum donation that gives you perks is $3. That will give you access to the TwitWoW Discord, which I think is the ultimate fan server experience. There you can talk about everything from wrestling to movies to video games to pretty much everything under the sun. If you can think to talk about it, there's probably already a tab in our Discord that exists for it. So yeah, I just think it's a great community, guys. Lots of fun to be had there. And again, only $3 for admission. And if you're thinking to yourself, yeah, I mean, a Discord server sounds nice. I'm a part of a couple of those, with fantasy football and, you know, my Walking Dead fandom or this and that. But, you know, I need a little bit something extra, you know. How are you guys different from those servers? Well, I'm glad you asked, imaginary conversational person, because if you donate, you have what we call a TWitWoW account. So to put it very straightforwardly, to get Discord access, again, it's $3 a month. If you maintain membership for 10 months, those $3 accrue for all 10 of those months to become $30 in total. You can cash in those $30 all at once for a live reaction to a 3-hour show, or you can continue to let your account build. We've got some people in our Discord with very impressive account standings right now. So you could either get immediate satisfaction, or you can build where you can cash in and be like, oh, I'm having you do the greatest wrestling show ever, or alternatively, the worst wrestling show ever. Looking at you, Present Sal, you beautiful bastard. And yeah, I think that level of content control really ups the stakes of being a Discord member. And really, that content control just makes our job more fun because we never know like what we're going to live react or review. And again, just makes you part of the action and part of what Team TWitWoW does, which I think, again, is just totally awesome. I call it a win-win-win-win. So get a win for yourself. Donate to the Patreon if you can. We greatly appreciate it. So with all those plugs out of the way, we can get to the final segment that everybody's been waiting for, high spots and low shots. You know what? Because of the way the show was structured, both these categories seem very straightforward. But to begin, you know, my low shot, I'm going to say, is Ricochet. He ate the pin tonight when he came, you know, a count away from competing for the NXT Championship, which in his NXT tenure, I don't think he's been able to do yet. So it would have been a huge opportunity for him, but it slipped through his grasp. Ricochet is my low shot. Partner, who's your low shot?
Yeah, I mean, Ricochet definitely, you know, eating the pin wasn't great. I think, you know, it's a tougher one on my end because, like I've mentioned, all but Dream had moments in this match where they had it won. Adam Cole's the only one that actually won it, but you know, Ricochet, Riddle, and Black all had points where they had the match won. And I don't really want to give my low shot to Dream either because he still looked great and he still walks out as the North American champion. So what I actually know, you know what? I am going to make my low shot Velveteen Dream because even though he is walking out as the North American champion, he's still tapped out in this match, which also means he's most likely going to have to defend his championship against the guy that made him tap out in this match, Matt Riddle. So yeah, Dream is actually, now that I think about it, you know, for having not been pinned, he's still kind of a pretty easy low shot for me. So yeah, Velveteen Dream's low shot this week.
And because of your argumentation, you've set the path perfectly for my high spot because I'm going to go a different route. I'm going to say my high spot is Matt Riddle. Because, you know, for a guy...
So you're just going to hand me the slam dunk pick, baby.
Well, I feel like given the circumstances, you deserve the slam dunk more than anybody because you've been standing Adam Cole harder than anybody. Like, I definitely leaned in and I was part of the Cole tonight because, I mean, he's delicious. But, you know, you definitely just deserve to sing his praises. But I will sing the praises instead of Matt Riddle because I'll tell you something, for a guy that lost the match, he looked fucking amazing doing it. And he set a clear path for himself because to me, he has two paths he can take. Most immediately, the North American Championship. He can come out and say, you know, bro, I distinctly remember you tapping out to my bro Mission last week. So how about I do it again at TakeOver New York and take your North American Championship? And if that endeavor fails, he can say, hey, you know, as I said, I had him tapping out in that fatal 5-way. So in all actuality, I should have been competing for the NXT Championship and challenge Adam Cole down the line. Matt Riddle's got it fucking made. I have never seen a more winning loser in my life than this magnificent son of a bitch. So Matt
and
Riddle,
of course, even though he lost in the sense that he didn't pick up the winning pinfall, he still didn't lose in the sense that he ate the winning pinfall. So he still can, you know, lay claim to that.
Yeah, you can still say he's never been pinned or submitted. That's absolutely true. That's a great point. So Matt Riddle, in a stroke of ingenuity, thanks to our teamwork, is going to be my high spot. So that leaves the ultimate high spot for you now. Who you got?
Adam Cole, baby!
That is so earned, my friend. That is so earned.
Oh, man. He made a promise. He kept his promise. He won the match. And by the way, can I also just add, this is like a complete and total sidebar and completely, you know, off topic in a way, but it does relate to what we're talking about here.
Right.
Remember back at SummerSlam when there was a certain triple threat going on and a certain someone who was supposed to be face at the time won by attacking someone who had someone else locked in a submission from behind And then like there was this big thing where people were expected to just cheer for her after she won the match, even though she won in the same exact way that an obviously heel Adam Cole won this match tonight.
Yes.
Fuck Charlotte Flair. And fuck WWE for thinking we would ever buy into that bullshit.
Since you used up your sidebar, I would just like to use mine very quickly. I honestly feel like the ultimate high spot tonight was me because my reality was kept together thanks to the excellence of Adam Cole. I said on live reactions, beautiful people cannot lie, and Adam Cole did not lie. He said he was going to get the win, and he did it. My God, those eyes sucked me in, and they showed me the truth of the universe, and we know then if Adam Cole doesn't lie, what does that mean? He is our next NXT fucking champion.
Yes!
Beautiful.
Oh God, I can't handle the wonderfulness.
Exactly, and I mean, look, who's gonna make a liar out of Adam Cole? Gargano. Enough said. Yeah. So high spot Adam Cole for you, Matt Riddle for me. We both laughed at Gargano. I feel like I won twice. So guys, with that said, this has been our NXT review. Oh wait, no wait. God, it's been so long since I've done this. This has been TWitWoW. This has been our NXT review. This has been TWitWoW. There we go. The best wrestling podcast. I'm sorry, guys. It really has been a minute. Wrestling podcast made for wrestling fans by wrestling fans on the web today. I'm John. That's my co-ordinate commentary, Ashton, and thank God for him because apparently I wouldn't know my ass from a hole in the ground. And guys, if you like the video, please leave a comment when it's done processing. What do you think about Adam Cole challenging for the NXT Championship at TakeOver New York against Gargano in a 2 out of 3 falls match? Were you hoping for a different outcome? Do you hope that Adam Cole will go all the way and become NXT champion? Or do you think it's the time for Johnny Wrestling to be the champion of NXT? What do you think about the build to the Women's Fatal 4-Way since that got touched on? Getting ahead of the game before it happens. I'll tell you what my final question will be. Who are you rooting for in the Dusty Rhodes Tag Team Classic final? Do you want Forgotten Sons to win? Do you want Black Ricochet to win? Which winner would you prefer to prevail? Because remember, the winning team goes on to face War Raiders at TakeOver New York for the championship. So give us your thoughts about that. Talk to us. Like the video if you haven't. The more likes you leave, the more likely we are to be the best NXT review on YouTube. And the top search result for it as well. And when you're the best at what you do, the top is the only place that you belong. So please leave that like, subscribe to your new favorite wrestling podcast if you haven't, and click the bell icon for notifications so you never again miss any of that TWitWoW goodness. And guys, we will see you again Friday at... Now, Ashton, did we end up changing the time?
It is at 3. It is at 3.
Okay, it is still going to be at 3 p.m. Eastern time. We're
over doing, the top, high stakes.
Over the top, high stakes, live reactions. Yeah, I think you're right about that. It is high stakes. Live reactions.
No, it's OTT Homecoming. It's Homecoming 2.
Oh, Homecoming 2. Okay, let me. Yeah, I think I do have that downloaded. Just gonna make sure that I don't have any extra work to do. Yeah, it's good. We're good. Homecoming 2. Live reactions. Whose Patreon request was this?
This was the Chiefin. The
Chiefin. Yes, beautiful.
Chiefin has been the one that's been getting us to react to Over the Top Wrestling and. Was it also Over the Top Wrestling that we reacted to like a week or two ago that featured like the tag team matches that we really liked and stuff like that? That was Rev Pro. That's right.
Oh yeah, Rev Pro.
And that was high stakes. That's what I was getting confused. It was Rev Pro high stakes, not.
Okay. All right. Now we got it.
Yeah, but Chiefin's been getting us to react to all kinds of these like really cool indie promotions, and because he had us, he's having us live react to Over the Top Wrestling coming up, and of course the Rev Pro and all that kind of stuff. I actually I put in a request specifically asking that nobody, and of course nobody would include the Chiefin in this. Request that we react to Devlin Walter too from the show that just happened a couple nights ago, because I know that neither one of us is really all that into Devlin versus Walter from the first one that they did, and I just don't want to have to react to the sequel because I really don't need to see Jordan Devlin kicking out of like a million different moves that should have put him away.
Yeah, absolutely. So we'll see you guys then for that live reaction. Thanks, Chief, in advance for the Patreon request. And that, again, will be on Friday. So enjoy your Thursday, guys. We'll see you Friday afternoon. And until then, tune in and peace out.